I will admit, it does look a little weird. I don't see where anything could go wrong. Welcome back to Lefty's Fabrication. Today we're getting back to work on our 2012 Dodge Avenger race car project. I still really need to come up with a nickname for that because it's kind of a mouthful. But I'm super excited because we're finally starting to put some armor on the outside of this thing, getting it ready for battle, you know, combat. Purposely getting in many, many accidents. Here's where we're starting our adventure today. This car needs new bumpers because obviously this one is missing. It was slightly damaged, ruined, crushed in the small accident that it was involved in, which is why I even have this car in the first place. But the rules for trash cars say that I can replace a stock bumper with either a 3x3 or a 2x4 inch square tube with an 1/8 inch wall. And I happen to have some of that stuff because I went and bought some. Do you want to see an idiot make decisions that he may never financially recover from? It's as easy as pushing that subscribe button. You know what it is. The first thing I need to do is figure out how far away I want the bumper to be from the mounting points on the subframe. The way I'm going to measure that is I have my 4-foot level zip tied to the front of my AC condenser because I'm a genius. I'm going to take my 2-foot level here, hold it level on the very front of the hood, and measure from the back of this level to the back of this level. And that will give me, pretty closely anyway, the distance I need to go to clear the hood.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Flying, get on board. We're smiling on top of the world. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever, keep it tight. Love the world, keep the sky
I don't think that's too far out, right? Just weld the piece of square tube right on the end of there and call it a day. Yeah, I think it's gonna stay like that. I'm just kidding. I just left these 2 tubes long so I had somewhere to sit the bumper while I'm building it and so I could eyeball it and imagine what it's supposed to look like when it's done. So this is what I have so far. Each of these ends is cut at a 35 to match the angle of the hood on each side. Obviously, I'm not going to try and match the curve of the hood because I don't care that much. But I figured having the ends on an angle would look a lot better than leaving them square. And also, if they were square, they'd stick, you know, way out here. That doesn't seem appropriate, so that's why I did that. I have decided I like where it sits, so I'm going to mark it and get these 2 giant horns cut off of this thing so we can get it all welded together. I have to cap the ends of the bumper for safety reasons, and if I'm going to do that, I might as well attach my rub rails to that tube pipe round piece of steel thing. It really is amazing to me how much planning has to go into something even as simple as this bumper. You know, when you do care what it actually looks like, you know, I have to plan ahead enough to know where the rub rail that comes down the side of the car is going to be so that I can plan ahead where I'm going to put it around the front and therefore, you know, the bumper shape and size. And that actually helps me out a bunch because then I could plan out where this end is going to be and it'll be a lot easier for me to make the tubes going around the front to go right through this cutout right here where the headlights used to be They go right down the side of the car where I want the rub rails to go. But now I can plan for that and go underneath the hood but in front of it, so if I get hit really hard, the tubing will just fold back and miss my hood, and then I can still open it. I feel very dumb, but I just barely realized that I could have just unbolted them from the car and then cut them, instead of cutting them and getting shavings all over my face. Whoops. Much better. I made a boo-boo. I forgot my impact at work, so I'll be here a while. These are unnecessarily long bolts. Man, this shop is clean. Have you seen my video? It's pretty good. This is taking a really long time. Check it out! Front bumper is done-ish enough for now. That's all I really can do for the time being, but I'm pretty happy with that. You know, it's not overly bulky, it doesn't stick out really far, and the welds, if you don't look really close, they look just fine. I may or may not have forgotten to change the settings on my welder when I went from 030 wire to 035, so they're a little bit chunky. And some of my fitment wasn't the greatest because I cut it all by hand. And an eyeball. Now that we have the front bumper done, it's time to do the back one. So I'm going to pull the car out, flip it around, and back it back into the shop. By the way, if anyone's wondering what this is dangling down, for some reason the power steering lines are super duper long, and I don't know why. This is the stock rear bumper, and I would love to keep this on the car and just say good enough and then move on with my life, but it's going to be really hard to attach the rub rails to this bumper, and these are made to crush. That is not something I want, so this thing has got to go. Now this is getting old already. I'm never forgetting my impact again. Wait, I have my big impact here. My Ryobi one. I would like to introduce to you all Ryobi 1 Kenobi. Forcing it off of there! Now that I have the rear bumper support thing removed, there's a couple things I need to take care of. First of all these studs that it was mounted with need to go. The front bumper, I had to bolt that thing to the front because a lot of the core support for the radiator is plastic and it's held on where the bumper mounts. So I didn't really have a choice. Back here, I'm just going to weld the sucker on. So all these studs have got to go, and I need to figure out how to get rid of this hitch. It looks like the bolts are pretty rusty, so I might just resort to cutting the thing off. Looking at the bolts that hold this receiver hitch on, I really don't want to try and undo the bolts because they are super rusty and they're really hard to get to. So laziness prevails. I'm going to cut this thing off. The only problem is that my fuel filter is right above my head, so I can't throw any sparks right here because fire bad. Reciprocating saw. I'm going to be here for about half an hour. So, hooray! Everything's a hammer. Surprise. I'm cold again. Yesterday, 75 and sunny. It was beautiful. Today, massive thunderstorm with marble-sized hail. And I mean like hail. It was insane. And I'm cold. I'm a huge sissy about being cold. It's just a thing. Next phase of my plan to take over the world, I need to weld a plate here and a plate here on the shiny spots, and then we can build the bumper off of that. This is what I found on my scrap steel shelf. I have a bunch of small stuff like this for situations just like this one. It happens to be almost the perfect length. It's a little short, but we'll deal with that. And it is the perfect width because it is the width that it is. I don't know what this thing is all about, but I'm going to cut that off, cut this in half, and then we'll have some plates to mount things to. Ow! My eyes! It would help if my welding hood was set to the right setting.
Excuse me, but, sir, you cannot park there. You are not welcome here. I do not like you. I'm going to squish you now.
I'm going to follow the same procedure building the back bumper as I did with the front bumper. These are my extra pieces from building the front bumper, so I might as well use them. I'm going to weld these onto the car and then set my long piece on top of these to figure out my angles because, let's be honest, I really don't feel like doing any math. Mint. Now comes the part where I have to think, and I'm not very good at that, but I need to figure out how wide I want this bumper to be. I can't go past the center of the tire on each side, that is my maximum, but I don't think I even want to go quite that wide. Because I am putting rub rails on the car, I need to figure out where they're going to be and how short my bumper needs to be to make the curve at the back of the car make sense. I need to leave myself enough room that bend can come all the way around before I get to the bumper. Or I can just forget all of that and wing it. because why not? Caution to the wind. I really don't know what would be better or worse for me to do for the work that I have to do later. So why not just do what feels right and go with that? I don't see where anything could go wrong. Yeah. I will admit, it does look a little weird, but that's okay. We aren't done with it quite yet. But that'll have to wait for next time. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, then that's okay. I haven't earned it yet, and we aren't friends, but I'd love to change your mind in the future.